Again, today we're talking about we're talking about frame manipulation is today's class, essentially. And frame manipulation, let me just give you a quick breakdown as to what that is. Frame manipulation is essentially making moves land or hit or be blocked at a later frame. What that does is it manipulates the frame recovery for your character. It also can dictate if a certain combo will connect or if you're safe or you're not safe. It can play a different role. Sometimes the frame manipulation can only be adjusted by one frame. Most moves have 2 active frames. So if I do a jab here, you'll notice on the frame data that it says 2 in the middle. That's the active frames or effective frames or whatever you want to call them, but that's the length of time that it's out there that it can actually hit someone. If it doesn't hit you right away on the first frame, it'll hit you on the second frame, and when it lands on the second frame, that's when the frames change. They adjust themselves. So I'm gonna show you a quick example of that real quick, as to how this works and how it can be, essentially useful. I'll probably be moving around different stages and picking maybe a different character here and there just so you guys can see different examples. When I land this move right here, so this move, as you can see, has 3 active frames. When it hits you, it's I have the computer set to recovery on, stagger escape fastest, and I'll just put power blow on just in case I need it. So on the fastest recovery, you'll notice that he's plus 18 frames. Anybody that studied the previous class or anything that knows anything about frame data understands that when you're plus 18, that means any move that's 16 frames or faster will land. And the reason that is because the move doesn't actually land on the 16th frame. It lands 2 frames later. So if there's a move that's 16 frames, like for example 444 punch, that's 16 frames, but it actually lands on the 18th frame. Anything slower than that would not land. And for those of you guys asking, yes, I will be posting this as a video later on YouTube and on Twitch as a highlight. If you guys see some questions that you guys see pop up on the stream chat, feel free to answer it for the other ninjas that may be missing out or barely hopping into the stream. I'm going to try to get through this as quickly as possible. I've only really put aside about an hour and a half so we can make sure this is covered completely. Going back to what I was saying though, back 3 plus kick. So back 3 plus kick will put him at plus 18. So we need to make sure that we can manipulate those frames. Now, back 3 plus kick has 3 active frames. So that's more than the jab. So that means I can actually have it land at a later frame and make that plus 18 into something like plus 19. Or maybe even better, up to plus 20. You know what I'm saying? Plus 18 is based off of the first active frame landing. So that means on the first one of those 3 that are available, it's plus 18. If it were to land in a slightly later frame, like the second one out of the 3 frames, it would be plus 19, like so. As you can see right there. So now I can get a move that's 17 frames to land, because I just manipulated the frame so that way I can land a move that's a little slower, if I needed to. Now granted, I don't have anything, especially at that reach, because usually the further they are, the more that you can mess with these frames. Oh my goodness, Mike, this better be good. Hold on guys, this guy right here. Okay, so that's what I needed to know. Good. Had to turn down the volume a little bit just so you guys can hear me. Let me know if you guys have any issues. So again, I made it 19 instead, and I'll make it 19 again, and I can make it 19 pretty consistently. So it's not a whole lot. It's not that hard for this kind of move. It has several active frames, so it's easy to do that, making it easier for me to land either a very strict move or just landing a slower move. So now I wanted to make it 18 frames though. If I want to make it 20 frames. If I want to make it 20 frames, I have to manipulate the move so it lands later, like really late, like at the last frame. Now I got plus 20. Now plus 20, I can actually do something with that. Now it's like it changes the game for me, because if I want to, I can go into this. See? And that would be guaranteed. Normally I can't get that. Usually I can only get that after something like this because I have so much advantage. But in this case, since I manipulated the frames to the last possible frame, it lands. You can't hold it, you can't do anything about it. Here's another fun fact though. And this is just in relation to sit down stuns, because I'm doing a sit down stun in this case. A sit down stun, after you slow escape a sit down stun, you're not allowed to sidestep or hold the following frame. I'm not sure how many of you guys know that, but you can't really do that. Like, you're not allowed to really mess with how you hold afterwards, because it adjusts the game. The game prevents you from doing that. So like, say for example, I do something like this, right? This is just a quick side note. If I do something like this, right, and I'm plus 19, now we all know this lands on the 20th frame because it's 18 frames. Now, because I manipulated the frame so it can be 19, on the 19th frame, or on the 20th frames I should say, on the 20th frame, the character cannot hold. After any sit down stun, you cannot hold or sidestep on that following frame at all. You can block though. Block is still an option, but that's the only option. It's like an unholdable setup, but it's really not unholdable because you're kind of coming out of a stun. You know what I mean? So it's the only stuns in the game that once you recover from the stun, you are not allowed to sidestep or hold the following attack. You can block though. So let's just assume I do that, right? See, I have him holding. So if I do a really slow move, let's say I do this slow move, he'll hold me, obviously, right? But if I do that, he can't. You see that? Let me change this to its normal hit. You see that? And that's because I manipulated the frame. Again, I manipulated the frame so I can have that extra advantage and be able to land a move, or even if he blocked it, it'd be good because it'd be a move where, okay, if he doesn't slow escape fast enough, I'll get the launch. And if he slow escapes fast enough and he blocks it, well, it's not that bad. I'm left at 0. There's a little bit of distance between us. I can probably do a torpedo or maybe a slap or something else. So it's actually good for me to do something like that. Now here's another example. I'm going to switch the station because I'm going to need some environmental things here. Hold on, let me see here. And each character benefits from this. Not just Hayabusa, every other character benefits it. The more active frames you have, the more freedom you have to manipulate, the frames. So let me go to, I guess, this ring stage for now. Let me have him do the same thing. Recovery on, stagger escape, fastest, power blow if I need it. And then we'll do this. So this is another perfect example. We're going to have him block the entire thing. Block everything. So whenever I do the headbutt at point blank range, nothing happens, right? Like I'm minus 15, but I can manipulate the frame, so I'm kind of safe. You're never really safe with the headbutt from the Nimpo stance, but you can manipulate it. See, I came from minus 15 to minus 8. So look how many active frames it has. It has 10 active frames. So potentially, based on the fact that on the first active frame is minus 15, I have another additional 9 frames I can manipulate. So I can make this move at least up to like -7. You know what I'm saying? If I land on the last possible active frame. Well, I made it -6. So there you go. So it becomes pretty safe. You can still punish it with a low throw. But if you do anything slower than a low throw, then you're not getting it. You see what I'm saying? It has to be a regular low throw. Now, of course, if you have a grappling character, it's a little different. You get a few more options. But, you guys kind of get the gist of it. Same with moves like this. You know what I'm saying? This move, -5. If I go really far away, it'll be -3. You see what I'm saying? So now it becomes safer, and it has pushback. So it'll push you back, and I become safer. So that's really cool. Now, there's other situations. Those moves, those few moves that, leave you like at -2 or something that leave you at 0 and stuff like that. Those are really important moves for you to know, because like if your character has those kind of moves, those can be useful to you, because now they can become something that's normally 0 or -1 into something that's +1 or maybe even +2. Just depends on how many active frames there is. So a perfect example of that, and a lot of people don't see this sometimes or don't understand because of the fact that the recoveries are different for different moves, even though they look alike. You can do something like that for this move. So let's say at point blank range, I'm at like negative whatever. Hold on, let me get him to block. So I'm -8 off the wall. That's point blank range. But I have 13. I gained active frames from the wall because it's a different move essentially. I gained extra frames off of that, and now I can do something from -8 to something that leaves me positive because I have so many active frames. I have so many to mess with. It compensates for all the negative frames I have. and it happens really fast like that because it's 10 frames going by really fast at a very short distance. So now I'm +2. You see what I'm saying? So now I became from, you know, a person that may be struggling with some frame advantage to somebody that can, you know, do forward punch, a jab, a kick. And now you have to watch yourself. And most of the time, some people don't notice that because they're like, oh, it's just the headbutt, it's the torpedo, just like any other torpedo. But it actually changes. It's actually not the same move, on top of the fact that I have more active frames. So it's something to keep in mind, you know, something that really helps you out. You know what I mean? Now, all this stuff I'm talking about is really just to help you get more knowledge of the game and help you win, essentially. I mean, the more knowledge you have of the game, the easier it should become to win. You don't need any of this, obviously, to win any of your matches. Obviously, you can just, you know, go by off of instinct and go off of gut and all that stuff, and general, you know, common sense. You know what I'm saying? But what these classes are meant for is to kind of give you that edge or help you learn something and maybe discover something new that nobody else has discovered and be like, holy crap, I didn't know about this. Or in this specific situation, I can do this and gain advantage or become safe, and people would think I'm unsafe. Same thing applies for something like this. Watch. Another perfect example is the forward kick. So Ninpo forward kick gives them 7 frames, right? And he's -8, but I have 7 frames to mess with. You know what I'm saying? I'm -8 on the first active frames, but I still have an additional 6 frames. So I should be able to bring it to like -2. And it happens at a very short distance. So this -8 still, that's -6 already. You know, and I'm still kind of close to him. You know what I'm saying? So let me see if I can get it to -5. So that now I'm just completely safe to the majority of the cast. You know what I mean? So that can be really, really useful to a lot of you, for those of you guys looking for those slightly safe situations. And if, even though I'm still negative, I'm put in a situation where I can sidestep immediately afterwards, or maybe I don't want to sidestep. Maybe I want to do like a handstand or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Just in case, because I'm not sure what's going to happen. So you can do this same technique with your character. Again, it all comes down to all the active frames you have. If you only have 2 active frames, it's okay. It's not a big deal. I mean, work with what you got. But the majority of the cast has several active frames, so it's very rare when you're in a situation where it's just, you know, your entire move set only has 2 active frames. There's a good portion of moves that have 3, 4, 5 active frames. Low sweeps are a perfect example of that. Low sweeps usually tend to have several active frames. If your character happens to have a low sweep that's on the border of being safe and unsafe, if you adjust the spacing, or if you adjust exactly when it lands, you become a safe character. You become a safe low sweeper. This also applies to even guard breaks. A guard break lands at a later frame. Most guard breaks actually have several active frames, usually 3 or more. This is a perfect example of this one right here. If I happen to land like at a really late frame with this, which is a little hard to do, but if it happened, you know, it would be more than what it is. So right now it's like plus 5, right? So I could probably make it +7 essentially. So right here I'm +6. You see what I'm saying? So now I have more frames that I originally was supposed to have. Again, this is all stuff. These are all like trickery. You know what I'm saying? This is all stuff to like throw your opponent off his feet, kind of be like, oh snap, like, oh I got him, or he's not plus that much, I'm gonna get away with this other move or whatever, and then boom, you hit him, and it's like, well, how do you get away with that? Well, it's simple. I manipulated the frame so I can recover faster, which gave me more advantage, which made it easier for me to stop you from doing any kind of dumb stuff that you might be trying to do. Same with 4-4 kick. If I did 4-4 kick, that has 4 active frames, so potentially it could be plus like, you know, 8 or something like that, or 7 I should say. But it just depends on when it lands, and it happens very quickly at a short range. There you go, +7. So a move that was originally +4 is now +7. So now it's like more of an issue to you as the opponent, you know, as the person defending, because now it's like, okay, he can't. I thought he was only +4, but now he's actually +7, which lets him get away with more stuff. You know what I mean? That +7 can be the determining factor if my first punch whiffs, but my second one catches you during the sidestep, because you might avoid the first part, but the second one might come out sooner because of the fact that I have more frame advantage now. So hopefully a lot of this is making sense to you guys. Let me know. Again, if you guys are struggling hearing me, let me know as well. You know, I want to make sure you guys can hear me clearly and understand what's going on here. So this can apply to any character. I'm going to show you a perfect example of this with another character. Let me just switch real quick. So Momichi has been messed with recently, if you guys didn't know, during the patch, and she can now do a sit down stun back turn. Unfortunately, the sit down stun does not land when you would like it to. You know what I mean? I'm gonna switch a more neutral character. Hold on. Let me just go with Ayane. No, I'm gonna go with Diane. Each character is different. Each character has different hitboxes, so you kind of usually characters that have bigger hitboxes is easier to mess with these manipulating frames because they're so big that you don't have to be as close or as far sometimes to land the hitbox on them. So I'm gonna do this with her here. So I'm gonna have this computer is gonna be a mass low escape, fast as this, and hold. I'm gonna have him hold mid punch. So actually, before I even have him hold mid punch, check this out. So you can get these two. Those are guaranteed, right? Like 2 sits down stun, and she's plus 14, right? The back turn back punch is 13 frames. So you obviously you guys know, even though she's plus 14, she actually needs to be plus 15 to land that last punch. But I also want to go back to what I was talking about on that side note. The side note being, on the 15th frame in this scenario, the opponent cannot hold you or sidestep. Remember that. So you can actually throw the the back punch, without, you know, being concerned about a hold. I mean, they can still block you and punish you, but they have to react to that. So in this case, I'm gonna have them hold. See? Now I'm gonna do this again, and I'm gonna do the punch. See? You can't hold me because he just recovered from the sit down stun, and you can't sidestep, you can't hold, you can't do anything. You gotta block. That's the only option you got, really. You can always throw a risk and throw an attack or throw a throw out there if you want to. I mean, that's always a viable option. But the chances of you doing that just wouldn't be that smart. You know what I mean? So, granted, it's not guaranteed. But at least what is guaranteed is that you're not going to be held and you're not going to be sidestepped. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to manipulate Momichi's frames by at least a little bit. Starting with the first one. Now, Momichi's going to be a little harder because of the way her hitbox is and the way her attack is. See, I was going to land it right there. See? Now it's guaranteed. So now I got 3 sit-down stuns for free, and then I get a launch for free as well. But it's all about knowing that range. You know, it's not an easy range for this character. And there you go. And then if you want to, you can complete that. And I understand some people are like, oh, well, you don't get a whole lot. Well, in this scenario, you kind of do, because now they're at max threshold and you can actually do whatever, you know, whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. So you get that for free. So essentially it's 88 points for free. Now, of course, you can, you know, manipulate other stuff like counter hit. If it were to land on counter hit, you probably get more. So now you got 111 frames. And that was just this one character with just 1 frame of manipulating. That's it. Just 1 frame just changed the whole thing, or changed the whole scenario for her in this situation. So that one instance can play a huge role. So some people may think, oh, it's just a frame or 2. But in reality, that 1 frame or 2 will determine if they can slow escape fast enough for your following attack. Will determine if you get the next sit-down stun guaranteed. If you get, you know, an unholdable situation after a sit-down stun, or after any stun, period, if there's like a specific situation. If your guard break gives you more advantage, you know, one or 2 frames can change the entire situations. Rather it be on hit, on block, you know, even in situations that you were just like, okay, I just did this at the wrong distance, but I still got, you know, away with certain things. So it's important stuff for you to know if you want to like extend your character's possibilities. You know what I'm saying? Do you need to do this? Do you need to know this? No, you don't. But does it extend the possibilities with your characters? It does, because you're manipulating the frames now. And you're manipulating the frames that are essentially were made for this character as a basic standard, and now you're adjusting it so it can become, you know, better. Exactly. Just like Jin Master just said, you're hitting at a later frame, which gives you more advantage. Exactly, it's the same thing. And it's good. It's good. I mean, that's what you want. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully you guys can make you know, make sense of some of this, you know, manipulating the frames. Obviously, she can manipulate the frames a little more, but since she's kind of coming downwards, it's a little harder. Usually moves that go outward a little bit, a little easier to mess with, but when it's coming downwards, it's a little hard because she's coming right down, and the follow-up move... See, this is the funny part. Momichi already manipulates the frames by herself in this situation right here. Notice how she's plus 14, right? She already does this on her own, without you even knowing. Because if that move were to hit by itself... If that move were to hit by itself, it wouldn't be that. It did right there because of the distance, but watch, I'm going to show you something. She's actually only supposed to be plus 13. She's supposed to be plus 13. But since this sits them down, believe it or not, she manipulates the frame because of the fact that the character's hitbox lowered. So since the hitbox lowered, the second punch is actually landing later. So that's what happens. So she's already manipulating the frames, and you guys didn't even know it. So not only is she doing that on the sit-down stun, the fact that you manipulated the first move is now helping out with the second move. You know what I mean? It's a good situation though. And again, that's unholdable, so it's like they gotta block it. It's a really good situation for her. It's a hard move to use just out there, but if you can use it, I would say use it. Especially given the fact that the potential damage could be over 100 points. So that's how frame manipulation essentially works. You know, that's how you get to mess with some of this stuff. And this applies to launchers. You know, some launchers may be unsafe, and you can make them safe. I used to do this all the time in DOA 4. Frame manipulation, I've known frame manipulation for a long time. I never actually had an opportunity to really get to a class like this, so now I'm taking that opportunity now and helping you guys out as much as I can. And I'm interested to see what you guys find. You know what I'm saying? If you guys find something or you guys have questions, you can always tag me on Twitter, Facebook, whatever, and be like, hey, check out what I found. Like, before I couldn't do this, but because of that, now I found out some new stuff. Now I can do this, which leads to something else, which leads to this. You know what I mean? What else? I'm trying to see. But yeah, that's essentially how frame manipulation works. Hopefully you guys get to use it. Add it to your arsenal. You can probably use it like whenever you like force somebody up, or whenever they get up. Maybe the move lands at that exact frame or something. You know what I mean? It's a really good situation, especially if you can make it land, you know, the way you want it to consistently. You know what I'm saying? I got plus 16 now. You know what I'm saying? Now I got more. I can do something like that or something, and I can make it even more. Watch. Let me see if I can get it later than that. I'm getting 16 consistently, but I'm trying to get 17. Because you're supposed to be able to get 17. Assuming that the first hit frame is actually hitting when it's supposed to. Which it looks like it is. Did I get it? Nah. Well, it's hard. Some moves are harder than others. But since it's a sit-down stun in that situation, that means 4 forward punch can't be held. So if I'm plus 16, like that situation right there, and that situation right there, I can do this. See? You can't hold it. So it may not guarantee you something, but it at least puts you in a situation where it guarantees you that they have to play defense. You know what I'm saying? And you don't have to worry about, you know, them holding you. So a move like this, where normally you would just be plus 15 and they would be able to hold a 4 forward punch, like so. Now they wouldn't be able to because you adjusted the frames. See what I'm saying? It's pretty cool, huh? It's like, it's really neat. Like, you wouldn't know, but then you like throw it out there and they're like, oh, I held that. Well, yeah, you probably did, but you can't anymore because I adjusted the frames. You can't do it anymore. So I hope frame manipulation helps you guys out, takes your game to the next level. For those of you guys that want to do the work, they want to get deep inside of it, and essentially learn new things. Maybe find new possibilities. See what happens. You know, I definitely like to see what you guys come up with. I know some of you guys are really good at learning this stuff, and you guys like take it to the lab. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you guys are in the lab right now, kind of messing around with certain things. But I know you guys are really, really, really good with this stuff, and it's always cool to see other people take, you know, some information or some knowledge and then apply it themselves and maybe come across something new. It's always good because, I mean, that's how we all learn, right? Give me just a quick second here. I'm just gonna check on something, and I'm gonna talk about a little bit about whiff punishment and why it's important in, you know, in general. You know what I'm saying? Give me a second. All right, here we go. So that's pretty much breaks down frame manipulation. You can obviously add this on top of you know, hidden frame data, help you realize some new techniques, new tactics and stuff like that, and things that you can mess with. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna do some of this real quick. So whiff punishment, if you guys don't know what whiff punishment is when somebody misses a move like so, and you punish him for it accordingly. So if he misses that, that's whiff punishment. You caught him in the recovery frames. You know what I'm saying? In other words, it didn't connect with you like that. You didn't block it. It's just whiff, and you got him in the middle of it. Like, this is like the biggest thing when it comes to offline play. Like, I know some of you guys are like, well, I don't get a chance to play offline, blah blah blah. I just want you to understand that there's a clear difference between a whiff punishment offline and whiff punishment online. So when someone is about to whiff a move, you always try to put a nice, like, distance. Like, this is the distance you always want to kind of be at. Like, you're kind of far and then you're kind of close, and then you're kind of far and you're kind of close. But you can always just turtle the whole time and just get really far. You know what I mean? And then hope that they whiff their move, and then you get them accordingly. You know what I'm saying? Like so. But with offline, it's easier to gauge when a person's going to do something. It's easier to see an animation and be like, okay, because the game just runs differently. So whenever somebody is doing a move that's going to whiff, you can see it right away and attack accordingly. You know what I'm saying? And take advantage of the situation. Even if it's not the greatest thing, you know what I'm saying? At least you got something. And that's better than getting nothing. Now, when it comes to doing this online, this technique right here is a fundamental technique. It goes to, you know, all fighting games, any fighting game, not just DOA related, not just Hayabusa related. Whenever this happens is when you go online, whiff punishment essentially is thrown out the window a little bit for the most part. It's like 50% of it is out the window. The main reason why is you have to constantly compensate for latency. Now, some of you guys might be like, well, I got a really good connection and all that stuff, and you do. You may have a really good connection, which makes whiff punishment a little easier. But this particular technique, not even like throw punishment, because even throw punishment can, for the most part, work all right online as well. But this particular technique is strictly, what do you call it, on reaction. It's like every bit of it is reaction. You know, you're looking at something, you're seeing it whiff, and you have to react to it accordingly and very fast. There's no, what do you call it, a checkpoint. There's not a checkpoint as to when you can go ahead and start your whiff punishment. You know what I'm saying? Whereas throw punishment or any other kind of form of punishment, there is a checkpoint. The checkpoint being when you block the attack. That's the checkpoint. You see a move coming out, you block it, checkpoint's there. Now it's time to, you know, throw punish. It's like, okay, I got you. Whiff punishment doesn't have a checkpoint. So you're using your reaction as best as possible to see a move whiff and make sure that you're out of the move's active frames and then punish accordingly. So in order to see that, you gotta be like, okay, he's doing something, I think he's gonna throw a move, boom, let me follow up. You know what I mean? And that's how whiff punishment works. Online, 50% of it is thrown out the window because your reaction, regardless of how fast it is, you're still making up for latency. So what ends up happening is you're predicting a move that's not even there yet. You know what I'm saying? A move is gonna get thrown out at some point. You just don't know when, but you have a general idea of when it's gonna come out. So you're gonna try to whiff punish early to compensate for the latency. You see what I'm saying? I hope that makes sense. This is an interesting, hold on, I just read something on the chat. This is an interesting thing. Alpha Lena said, careful though, whiffs can be used as bait. That's false. Whiffs cannot be used as bait. Unless you're across the screen and they can't hit you. Anytime a move whiffs, let me put it in perspective for you, okay? Let me put it in a quick perspective for you. Anytime a move whiffs, let's just assume you use the fastest move. The fastest move being a jab, right? When you do a jab, your recovery for whiffing the move is that last frame right there. It's the one that says 13. So for 13 frames, you cannot do a dang thing. Like, you're there for 13 frames. Now, granted, you may not be punished by a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, 13 frames, big deal. But that's just a jab. That's only a jab. So imagine if you do one of your panic attack moves or your go-to moves to poke somebody. So let's say I use 4-punch. Now mine is 19, so that move that computer's doing can actually get away with that. You can see me whiff this move and then hit me. In fact, I can whiff a whole string and he can hit me as I whiff the string. And that's easier to apply offline than it is online. You know what I'm saying? So whiffing a move as bait is not a good tactic. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm gonna whiff this move and try to do something. No, because if they read it and they get you, then you're kind of screwed. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, same thing applies to, you know, strings. If I'm just throwing moves out there like that, I can essentially get hit by the move that you're trying to whiff punish me with. See? It works the same way. Now, there's different forms of whiff punishment. I mean, obviously you can use a launcher, you can use a throw. Whiff punishment can be done even with throws. This also applies to get-up kicks. Get-up kicks are no different. So if somebody does a get-up kick, let's see if I get this right. There you go. So let's say I did a get-up kick, and they whiffed it, I can still run in and get the throw. That's whiff punishment. And this is how I know it's whiff punishment, because if I do this, he's supposed to do a jab afterwards. So hopefully he does a jab afterwards. Let me see. It looks like he's doing it fast enough, so I'm going to go ahead and assume he's doing it at the right speed. He should be able to throw the jab out there, but he's not. He's getting whiff punished with the throw. Or I can just do it on myself, watch. Perfect example, watch. I should be able to do it on myself. Let's see if I can. No, I may not be able to, actually. I'm going to have to go back to the computer doing it. And this applies to low kicks as well. That's all whiff punishment. That's how it works. And it's easier to gauge that, you know what I'm saying? Even as somebody waits or whatever, you can see them get up and then grab them and then, you know, take advantage of them. Take that extra, you know, 50 points of damage or 60 points or, you know, something maybe even more nuttier, you know, a big throw or something like that. When someone whiffs something, you're plus a lot of frames. You know what I'm saying? Let me see if I can show the hidden frame data on how much I... Hold on, let me just do this. So look at that. So I can be up to 21 frames. Yeah. Even more. So just to give you an idea of what you can do, you know what I'm saying? And that's how that works. How long are we doing here? 45 minutes? Okay, we're good. We're doing good. If you guys get this, I hope it makes sense to you. Again, online, it's a little harder to do the whiff punishment. Whiff punishment is really good. It's very fundamental. It's a really good tool. Instead of having to go in there and, you know, throw a bunch of strings out there, whiff punishment is really, really, really good. And it's a technique that's overlooked on a lot, mainly because of, you know, lag. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us play online and a lot of us get our practice online, which is fine. But you got to take that into consideration. That, like, hey, you know, I may not be whiff punishing as much as I should, but it's only because it's not working as well as it should, or it can't work as well as it should. To say that, you know, I can whiff punish online flawlessly, you're lying, because you're still making up for latency. Even at the perfect connection, you're making up for latency, which means you're guessing as to when a move is coming out. And the reason I say you're guessing is because when a move whiffs and you react to it and you do the whiff punishment move, remember, they're only available for something ranging from 15 to maybe 25 frames. So you have a 15 to 25 frame move that you can get out there in time to land on them. You know what I mean? And when you're reacting to that offline, it's like it's a little easier to be like, okay, he whiffed it, or I'm seeing about to whiff something. I'm gonna go ahead and react with this move that's either slow, fast, whatever. But online, you're just kind of like, okay, I think he's gonna whiff something. I have to wait, because if I push this button too early, it may come out too early, or if I wait too long, the move won't come out in time. So I think this is gonna happen, so I'm gonna go for it, and then you end up missing, or you end up getting blocked and punished yourself. So that's a bad situation. So every now and then, it's always good to just be in training mode, have the computer set on to like max difficulty, and then just practice your, you know, your whiff punishment. Get this thing off because this thing looks horrible. And that's like, you know, that's the possibilities you can do. Whoa. See, he was throwing out a whole string. I can get those things all offline so easily. He's doing the drops. But yeah, so that's kind of like the whiff punishment portion of it. So hopefully this guys makes sense to you. Again, if you guys have questions and stuff like that, I will be answering them towards the end. But it's a very important role. Whiff punishing, spacing, really big stuff. Especially for your character if it has like, they have pretty good range attacks, you know. Hayate has, you know, like the lunging kick, Janli, stuff like that you can use and, you know, help you get that winning edge, you know what I'm saying? Again, do you need to use whiff punishment the whole time to win? Probably not, but it'll definitely make your job a heck of a lot easier, so you don't have to worry about it. So I'm gonna try to kind of close this up, but before I close it up, I just came across some new stuff. I want to show you guys what I'm talking about, and again, I haven't seen anybody talk about it, so I want to see how this goes. I haven't seen anybody talk about it. I haven't anybody mention it at all. So I was in the Zack Island stage, and I was messing around with this thing. I was seeing a video. Somebody was doing a combo, and I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. You know, it just tells me that there's a lot of time. I already knew you had a lot of time after getting hit with this specific danger zone. This is danger zone related. Let me go ahead and have recovery on. You guys just saw me put recovery on. Stagger escape fastest. And we'll just leave it at that, I guess. Power blow is on. Okay, cool. So, when I landed this power blow, and when I was seeing the combo video, I was like, I know I have a lot of time after this power blow. I was like, I know some situations are better than others. And others, situations are a little more strict. But in these situations, anything where you send somebody flying, they hit a danger zone and they come down, this applies to. Oh, actually, they don't come down. They go flying up. I'm sorry. If they go flying up, if you hit a, like, usually specific stage danger zones. Usually, it has to be specific ones. So, like, scramble, this one, you know, etc., etc. So, those kind of danger zones, this technique applies to. This may be useful for some of you. This may be something that maybe you just don't want to use, or, you know, maybe if it's there, you'll use it. But this is brand new. So, I haven't seen anybody talk about it. I haven't seen anybody do it. From my understanding, before this patch, I would always try to hit somebody before they landed. Now, we always concentrated on people landing, bouncing, and then doing our combo. You know, makes sense because you have a lot of time. They bounce, you run up in there, you do your combo, and you're done, right? Now, in the past, I've tried to hit them before they land. And I don't remember once ever landing it, like, at all. But then I said, you know what, let me give it a shot. Maybe this situation is different. It's a new stage, a new patch. Let me see what happens. So I found out, at least now, I mean, again, I don't know if that was possible before because I've tried it in the past and it never worked. So now you can hit them before they land. If you can get there before they land, you can actually hit them before they land. So here we go. It's a little hard because I don't know why the game lags like this sometimes. So there, I got him before he even landed. Now, here's the beauty of it. So to some of you, it's like, okay, so what's the purpose of landing a combo before they land? Well, first of all, you don't, what do you call it? You don't lose any damage. The fall doesn't give you extra damage. So you're not losing anything by doing the combo early. Second of all, if your character's fast enough or have a lunging attack that can help you out, then it can actually give you more damage. Let's see if I can get this. Oh, I didn't land it. In some situations, you know, you get more frame advantage and stuff like that. So I'm gonna do the generic situation so I can see how much life I get. So normally about 138. But you can extend that to a little higher, as long as you're quick enough. So that's 139. Granted, I didn't do the move I wanted to do, but just to go show you real quick that it's not as hard as long as you get the practice in. I was doing the wrong move again, actually. And then you can land that, see? So if you would have hit the wall right there, it would have been like 147. And sometimes that'll happen, sometimes it won't happen. But the point is you can get more damage or a higher juggle or better situation. So that's just one thing that's new. There's another thing to these specific danger zones. And this applies, finally, for once, to all characters. So, if you guys know, Hayabusa was the only character that I was aware of that has, you know, a guaranteed untechable situation. Granted, there's a few other situations where, you know, a character can do a specific setup and get that. But Hayabusa is the only one that really got it often. So, like, here's one, and I'm going to show you this in a combo later. Here's a specific situation. So, let's say I do this, I land this, and I do this, right? So, if I land this, and I go like this, that's untechable. I can get behind them, and you can't tech roll that. So, to some of you, it's like, well, what use is that? I mean, you know, that doesn't do me any good. Well, it can do two different things. You can do a mind game and do this. You can do that and get behind them. Now you're plus 10, so you can hit the punch. Then they gotta hold the jab if they want to, and then you can put them back in a similar situation. So that's a mix-up. Now you can just do the forward punch and then get the Izuna drop and get like 120, and you really didn't lose that much life. If anything else, you gained damage. So that's a mix-up, and everybody can do this as long as you have a move that allows it. And I'm gonna show you another situation where this actually may make more sense to do. Now on this danger zone, I'm gonna have this computer, and this is a computer, right? I mean, if the computer can't even tech roll, that's like big stuff. So the computer, as you know, will always tech roll everything. No matter what, it'll just tech roll it. It has like invincibility frames or access to certain frames that we don't have access to. But in this case, we won't be able to. Why is it doing this? Oh, hold on. Again, this is only specific stage danger zones. What the heck happened? So that's a force tech. You see that? That's a guaranteed untechable to anybody. That means any character can run up and do it. And you have more than enough time. More than enough time. You can do a sweep. You can do whatever you want. But it's guaranteed untechable to the entire cast of the game. So if you can't get there in time or your character doesn't benefit, you can get up there, do a low sweep, force them up, and put the mind game on them again. Keep the advantage going. Get rewarded for using the danger zone, and on top of that, going in there and still keeping the advantage on them. In fact, you can sometimes do a move. Check this out. I'm gonna miss the move. Let's say I'm trying to do the combo and I'm like, oh, let's see if I get it. Well, in this case, I got it. But hold on, let's see if I can get it and then whiff the move, miss it, and still get the force tech anyway. So you'll try the juggle, but if you miss the juggle, you can still get the force tech. You see what I'm saying? So that's like a new possibility. If you guys didn't know that, you can do that. And again, this is specific to character stages. Character stages with danger zones like that, specific danger zones. So I'm going to show you another one. And it has to be something. It has to be stage specific, like I said. It can't just be just a regular danger zone that's there. It has to be something that's specific to that danger zone. And it has to be like a special object that can only be used once, usually. Usually it only be used once. So I'm going here. And remember, I have the computer tech rolling. I tested it myself. I can't move. And unless something I missed, but you can't get out of it. So let's say, assume I do this, right? This is not going to work because it's not the same situation. See how he tech rolls? I can't hit him. But if I do this, I can get him before he lands. See? And get a longer juggle than normal because he's so high. You know, the the height of him is so high now that I can actually get something better than before. And again, you don't lose anything for them not hitting the ground, so you benefit from this. It's all about timing, you know what I'm saying? The better you get at it, the more you can be like, okay, I'm gonna get this juggle. I was kind of trying to do a handstand there, but yeah. So you guys get the gist of that. Same situation though. I can do this and force tech him. He can't tech roll. I have that much time. I have literally that much time to do that. Go into the teleport and then force them up, and they can't do anything about it. Can they still hold you once they get up? Yes. Can they still block and do all those other things? Yes, they can. But they're minus like 10 or 12 or 13 or 20 or something. Just depends on the move that you did. Again, this can help some of those characters that may not have the same situation. This is like not even timed. Like, I mean, I don't even have to do special timing. I just do 4 people's K and then into the Nimpo kick, and that's it. I don't have to time anything else. If I just want to go for the force tech, I can just do that. Do that same situation and force them up. And go into an Izuna drop if I want to. You know, whatever it is I want to do. You know what I'm saying? The whole point is you have that option. Now, if you guys haven't seen the recent video I just put on my Xbox One, I just uploaded one. If you didn't see it, I just uploaded one where now that expands this possible combo. So now this is giving me more ideas for, you know, in the future. Maybe another video, who knows. Let me get this real quick. I did this on the video. Hold, I need it slow. And hopefully I can do it again right here. And it was sick. Like, I literally turned this character into Ninja Gaiden after this. Oh. Let's see if I can land it. It's going to be hard. I'm surprised I landed it last time. Because again, now you can hit them before they land on the floor. And remember, I couldn't do that before. What? You're supposed to turn around. Oh my god, I missed him. Anyway, you can land that. But it's nuts. You can land that before they hit the floor. Which means other characters can do similar situations that send them up to the sky like that. Dang. But you guys get the idea. So you guys can do that too. Again, after they hit that, I don't believe they can tech roll. So it's just a similar situation, I think. Oh, hold on, I messed up. But this is only because it's a glitch. This is a glitch in the game, so it's a different situation. All these goodies, I'm giving you all these goodies. Yeah, so he can't tech roll that either because he hit the hit the helicopter when he wasn't supposed to, and you know you can't tech roll, so you can't tech roll that either. So you can actually do that. Let them land behind you and put their back to the wall right there, and then you can decide if you want to like throw them or hit an attack and then launch them back over there, essentially getting more damage. Now this doesn't apply because it's not the same thing. You're not sending them up there. It has to be a power blow related type of thing. With the helicopter trick I just did being, you know, a glitch, you can't do that normally. I'm gonna show you a few more scenarios of that so you guys can see where you can do it. You can do it after the car and scramble. You can do it after, where is it? Sanctuary. You can do it after that too. Now granted, they're really far, so this might benefit everybody. Is that allowed during play? Because it's a glitch? Yes, it is. It is allowed during play because it's not a game-breaking glitch. It's not something that's going to be like super, super crazy. Like, you know, you're just taking advantage of the scenario. So, hold on. Start escape. Yes, powerball. So in this scenario, they fall really far, and although I can run up to them and probably get them, it's really hard. I mean, it's just hard. So instead of doing that, I can just sit back, get in the stance, and force them up like that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna do it. I mistimed it there, but the timing is not that strict. You actually have a lot of time. See, he couldn't get up. The computer. I have the computer to tech roll, and the computer can't even tech roll. It's a complete untechable situation for all characters. And he's right in front of me. And Hayabusa just happens to have a teleport that'll put you in the spot that you need to be whenever you need to be there. So I'm lucky in that respect, but everybody else can do it. You know, there's other moves you can do. I can do something like this without even timing it. Actually, I think I can just do punch, punch, back, punch, kick. Boom, right there, into the next situation. And throw is just one option. You know, you can throw out anything. You can do maybe a sit down stun or something like that. And remember, they can still sidestep you and stuff like that, but the idea is that they can't, you know, they're not gonna do anything that leaves them at an advantage. You have the advantage. You carry the momentum forward. You know what I'm saying? You get to have that for yourself. So maybe some of you guys would use some of this stuff. You know, I know some characters don't always get the best combos, like, you know, Hayabusa or some of the rest of the cast. But at least if you are struggling, if you're second guessing, you know, is this combo gonna land for me this time? I know it's a hard combo to land. You know what? I'm gonna sit back. I'm gonna play a little bit safer this time, and I'm just gonna run in and do a low sweep because it's an untechable situation. I keep the momentum going, and I can potentially win it this way. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and I'm gonna show you one last situation. This can apply to all characters as well. In a very, very interesting stage. Here we go. So I'm gonna have this character recovery, stagger escape. I'm gonna put the power blow on just in case. So remember, he can tech roll. So he can tech roll, see, as you can see. But if I do this, I get that for free. See, it's like, it's kind of like glitchy, but it's not really glitchy. It's just, you know, you get that for free. Hold on, let me get this on counter hit to make my job easier. Oh, come on, game. I have to time it correctly. I don't regularly do it, but you can do it. Crap. What? It's not supposed to whiff. It's really funny on how it works, but it works. I mean, either way, you can do whatever you want to it. You know, you can do anything. See, it's not supposed to whiff, so it's not like he has invincibility frames. I just don't know why it doesn't hit. You have to time it correctly. I've done it before. You can still do it after the patch. There you go. So you can do something like that to get extra damage. You know what I'm saying? I did the critical burst, and instead of going straight into, you know, the Izuna and going like into Izuna from here, I can still get the extra Izuna damage for being an Impo, and then get them to bounce on the floor and then get extra damage. You know what I'm saying? Because normally, let me put this date on. Normally, this would be my overall damage, right? Oh, I messed up. Hold on. So 147, right? So instead of doing 147, I can potentially get now plus the explosion, whatever the explosion was going to be, probably 150 or something like that. So just to give you guys an idea, all characters can do this. Again, just depends on how you want to use your untechable situation. You know what I mean? Totally up to you. You know, it's just an extra hit. It's an extra hit on top of the hit that you already got on. The same thing applies to those moves right there. I can do something like that. I'm sure some of you guys have already seen that. You've seen something like it. I wonder if I can do this. Hold on. I never actually looked into it. Yeah, similar situation. I can just do that instead. Stronger move, 166. Better damage. Really good stuff. So new combo. There you go. Hopefully this has helped you guys. Hopefully this stream will level up you guys. All the stuff I found, the new tech, untechable situations for all characters with stage-specific danger zones. Being able to hit them before they land on specific danger zones. And, you know, let me know what you guys find. Let me know what happens. Post anything when I upload this to YouTube, either on the comments, tag me on Twitter, Facebook, whatever. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you do, let me know. I'll try to do more of these. Sometimes I get too busy. I can't always do what I'd like to do. So definitely follow. I'm always doing a little bit of everything. Thank you guys for all coming in. And I will catch you guys next time. So go out there, figure out what you can find